And we're back for another season of Confidence Picks right here on the Bigger Ten Michigan Podcast channel. I'm Steve Deace, my co-host, never partner, Aaron McIntyre here with me again. Another year of Confidence Picks. We pick every game straight up that is played in the Big Ten Conference this season from week on. So we're going to do this for the next 14 weeks. Aaron, how are you feeling right now? Are you confident after last season?
Yes. Yeah. Remember,
who won last year? I forgot.
You won last season by a margin that was a point less than your opening week margin that you beat me. So anyway, so it
was very close.
It was very close, meaning that I actually outperformed you by a single point. The rest of the season, the opening week margin that you beat me by ended up what you beat me by for the whole season. So
I basically just coasted from there.
Very important week. That's what this means.
All right.
We'll start with your picks.
Let's begin. 11-1. I'm going to go with Minnesota over New Mexico State. New Mexico State, one of the worst teams in college football, and I think Minnesota is going to win the Big Ten West. My 10-point game this week is Wisconsin over FCS Illinois State because it's FCS Illinois State. My number 9 game is Michigan over Colorado State. Wolverines, the spread's up to like 30 now. I don't know about that. I love the over in this game, though, although the over's well past 60 now. I don't know if I'd play it now, but I played it earlier this week at 56. I mean, I could see Michigan hitting that number by itself. I like the Wolverines to roll here. Don't know if they'll cover the 30, though. My number 8-point game, I'm going to take Michigan State over Western Michigan. Really more of a fade of Western Michigan more than anything else. Broncos had a good team last year. Sky Moore was a top 3-round pick in the NFL at wide receiver. He's gone. Not really. It's kind of a rebuilding year for the Broncos. I think Michigan State takes advantage. My 7-point game is Nebraska over North Dakota because it's North Dakota. My 6-point game, I like that deep probing analysis there.
It's North Dakota.
Yeah, it's North Dakota. My 6-point game is Maryland over Buffalo. I will tell you, one handicapper I respect, this is one of his best bets of the weekend, is he's laying 24 with Maryland over Buffalo.
Wow.
And, I mean, I could see Maryland putting up a 50-burger here. I just don't know if I trust their defense to cover a 24-point number. But this guy, that's why he lives in a nicer house than me. My 5-point game is Iowa over South Dakota State. We talked about that on Bigger Ten this week. This is just a game I'd never schedule. I wouldn't schedule FCS to begin with. If I did, though, since I'm getting nothing from it, I get no public perception points. Doesn't help me in any kind of metric that the playoff committee looks at. It's not involved in any tiebreaker with the Big Ten. Then I would be playing like the last lowest ranked FCS team I could find and just roll it. Why? I'd never schedule a top 10 program in the FCS. I'd never do that. But Iowa did, and it's a clear look-ahead spot for the Hawkeyes as well. I'll take Iowa here, but something tells me you're going to sweat this out into the second half. Yeah. My 4-point game is Ohio State over Notre Dame. I'm actually much more confident than this that Ohio State will win. It's just such an overall weak slate of opponents for the Big Ten that I couldn't justify putting Ohio State, Notre Dame over, Wisconsin and Illinois State. But I do think on paper there is no clear advantage for Notre Dame to exploit. But like I said on the Bigger Ten show again, I would be a little concerned that a program as proud as Notre Dame has been told for 8 months it's going to get curb stomped. That has to, they're going to play with an extreme amount of pride. My 3-point game is Boston College over Rutgers. I like BC a lot this year to have a bounce back with a full year of their quarterback who got hurt last year. Yet somehow, they barely beat Rutgers the last time they played. And I don't know. Schiano's a good coach. I just think Rutgers has lost a ton. And if it wasn't for that Indiana BTN bus tour stop, Rutgers was easily the second most uninspiring one that we saw here this last month. My 2-point game is I'm going to take Illinois in the upset over Indiana, and I don't like this. Nothing against Illinois. I'm a Bielema fan. But Indiana is one of my best bet win totals, and I can't see me getting that win if the Hoosiers don't win this one. But after I saw an Illinois team, I don't think they're great, but I think they have an identity. I think they have a brand. I think they're going to do their thing. And after I watched that BTN bus tour, I don't want to keep harping on that, but brother, that was, if I'm an Indiana fan, I'm like, basketball practice starts at the end of the month already before the season is played. I'm going to take the Illini to go on the road, get the win, and be 2-0, and then tied for the first place in the Big Ten West with Northwestern. So there you go. And I'm going to take another upset. I'm going to take Purdue over Penn State, and here's why. The one thing I know I can count on more than anything is that Jeff Brom is one of the best play callers in college football. Right? So, Penn State lost some guys on defense, lost quite a few guys on offense. The one thing I know is going to be very good in this game is Jeff Brom calling the plays. And for that reason, I'll take the Boilermakers to pull a slight upset on Thursday night. Aaron.
Excellent analysis. We'll begin. I've got the same 11 spot as you do. I watched most of that New Mexico State game, as I said yesterday, on Bigger 10. And yeah, they are bad. Because Nevada, the team they were playing, might be one of the worst teams.
Nevada might be worse than them, and they lost to them.
And they still lost to them.
I mean, they turned it over 5 times. Yeah. That's why they lost.
Now, their backup quarterback that came in, he looked pretty good, but the game was pretty much already over. I will say Jerry Kill coming back to Minneapolis. I know his assistants who took over. There was some bad blood there when they got let go, but I don't think that's going to be enough.
He'll run it up if he gets the chance.
Oh, yeah, you know it. Number 10, Nebraska over North Dakota. I just have to believe. I'm just going to keep hitting this. I just can't. Nebraska's not going to Nebraska against North Dakota. They're just not. They're not. This is not North Dakota State. This is North Dakota. Number 9, very confident in Ohio State over Notre Dame. I think whether or not it's close, I think the home field advantage there as well. That's got to do something. I will say though, if it's close and the expectation was that Ohio State was just going to steamroll them, I don't know what the mentality will be like at that point of the game. I just don't think that's going to happen. Number 8, Michigan over Colorado State. This is just going to be a bloodbath. This is Colorado State, is it Jay Norvell that coaches them now?
Yes, good coach.
He's a good coach, but This is his first year, so I don't think there's going to be much of a resistance there. Michigan State over Western Michigan. I said, would you rather pick Western Michigan or Notre Dame? I said Western Michigan, but I still think Michigan State's going to win easily. Number 6, I've got Maryland over Buffalo. Buffalo has been a fairly upper half of the MAC team, but I don't think they're going to be near that this year. Number 5, I've got Wisconsin over Illinois State. Probably should have had them a little bit higher, but again, I'm just more confident. Numbers 11 through 5, I'm basically an equal amount of confident in. Number 4, I've got Penn State over Purdue for the reasons I said yesterday on Bigger 10. Penn State is used to this spot, starting the season on the road against a good team. Purdue is not, other than last year when they beat Oregon State at home, and it was a good Oregon State team. Generally speaking, the first serious competition under Jeff Brom that they get, other than the 2020 COVID year, the first serious competition of the year that they get, they have not done well. So I've got Penn State over Purdue. Number 3, for the same reasons that you just said, I've got Iowa over South Dakota State. I've got a bad feeling about this. Everything I'm hearing from Iowa media is basically temper your expectations for the offense, which basically means when Iowa media is saying that, if you're from around Iowa, that means the offense is not improved. Spencer Petras looks the same that he did last year. Let's lower your expectations. That's not good because you can't get much lower than the expectations for the offense last year, and yet they still won the West somehow. So, the defense is going to be just fine. It's not like they're going, I don't think they're going to be like down by 2 scores or anything, but you never know. South Dakota State, they might throw out some trickery and things could get a little ugly. Number 2, I've got Boston College over Rutgers. I don't know what to make of this game. I really don't. But I know even less what to make of Illinois over Indiana, which is my number 1 pick for the same reasons that you did and what I laid out on Bigger 10 yesterday too. Which is Illinois has an identity. Indiana, I don't know. I don't even know if they know or think that they have an identity. I'm going to go with Illinois. They've shown at least some consistency, even if it doesn't result in wins. They've shown some consistency, and that matters a ton in college football.
So looking at this, it appears one of us will lead by 5 points after week 1, right?
The Penn State.
And Purdue game. Is that a 5-point swing there, right? Am I doing that math
because
right?
You've got -1 for you and +4 for me.
Or the other way around, depending on who wins. Yeah. So, well, at the very least, whoever loses this week will not be buried out of week 1 like what happened to you last year.
Exactly.
All right. Well, there you go. Those are our confidence picks for week 1. We're back here on the channel with Michigan Podcast Bigger 10 and confidence picks again for week 2. We'll see you then.